Hey yo, this is Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your patronage and your support of the channel. One of the things I talk about quite a bit is keeping your brain engaged in the game and trying to think your way out of situations. Instead of driving down one of the various lanes and just shooting people in the face, sometimes there's a better option. And one of the maps that really highlights this quite well is Proc, because it's not very much of a lane map. That's one of the more open ones that we've got. We're going to call this one Keep Thinking. Keep Thinking. Because sometimes when things happen, or most of the time when things happen in this game, you've got to stay on your toes and try to think of what you're going to do next, even if things aren't really going your way. So I've loaded into Proc with my Tier 8 German Premium Heavy Tank, 2-tier battle, 9s and 8s. And I want you to take a look at the list there. Take a look at the list, see what tanks are there, and think about what you would do here. Okay, so we haven't even started moving. You've just loaded in, you're in a low. Where would you go? I'm going to give you a few moments to consider that. Then I'm going to start it. I'm going to tell you where I went. I'm going to tell you why. Alright, let's get going. I pretty immediately go right to the middle, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, there's no arty. You may have noticed that. So that is going to help working the middle. That doesn't stop me from going the middle if there was arty, but it is something I take into account. But in this case, it's not a factor. There are a fair amount of decent hold down tanks, but the low is actually one of those as well. Not too bad. Initially, I'm going to go up onto this ridge. I kind of like this because sometimes you can catch a scout out. See what our scout's doing, surfing the ridge? See what just happened to him? I drive up on here because I get a little bit higher ground, and if their scout comes up and over, I might have a better shot. Now, I don't stay there. I see their scout's actually over on the west side, so he's not going to do that. And I don't see any other faster tanks doing that either. The reason I come back down, though, is because it's a good hold down map, and I do expect people to poke up over the ridge because there's no arty. If I'm out there in the open, they have shots at my hole, and I only have shots at their turrets, so let's change that and get up here. So that's the first thing I thought about. Let me see if I can get some free damage. Didn't happen, so I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the 5-6 line. You can see that the enemy's got a lot of the same idea. A lot of their tanks are right here. The IS-3 is okay hold down. It does struggle a little bit. The 34-3s are not going to have a very good time at all unless they come up and over, although they're positioned to do what? To take shots on any of our guys going up the hill. Now initially I'm pretty happy about how many guys we have going up the hill. I think we have just enough. I'm not as excited about the guys camping in the southwest corner, but at least there's some guys over there, and the scouts are doing their job on the middle. So initially this looks like a pretty good setup. You can see the E-75 is clicking on the back side of their hill, and that's important because we need somebody over there so we can get shots. Ah, there we go. That guy gets highlighted. I miss. I'm going to have some problems with developing palsy here as well as I shoot at some of these guys. And I just shoot the E-75. Thank goodness it bounced. Didn't see him coming up. That's my fault though. I pulled the trigger. That guy's shooting back. Let's take a shot in here. I think I get some more damage. There we go. And you'll notice that I'm only coming up enough to just clear my gun so I can get some shots. And once I'm spotted, I back down because there's probably a few friends of his up there, and where I am on this flat I can get shot. I am exposing my side armor to them to some extent, but that makes it easier to get up and over to take the shots. I could turn my front armor to them and drive up the hill a little bit, but it's not as easy. In addition to that, then you're vulnerable to guys popping over in front of me right there and taking me in the side. So right now, to minimize both as best as possible, I'm just going to kind of rock back and forth here. And if I do sink down enough, I should not be able to be shot by the guys on the hill. Now you can see what our guys are doing. They've sat on the back edge, and that's very unfortunate. That's going to hurt us hugely. Once the 120 ran off the back of the hill, I would have loved to have seen at least two of them push in. There are some bushes right here that they can get into. Ideally, I'd like them to come up in that little divot right there and start poking just a bit just to see what's there and get us some lights. Now we've got quite a few tanks here, and we can count noses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at least, maybe 10. There might be another one included in there. So that leaves about 5 tanks unaccounted for. One of them's dead, so there's 4 tanks somewhere. I missed that one. Got the shakes there, I guess. And so let's go back to the keep thinking. Right now, there's not much I can do different. If I go to the right a little bit and start poking up and lighting up T-34s or whoever's right there, I do run the risk of getting shot because I do have to come up quite high. U-75 does a nice job getting him, but watch what it costs him. Nope, that's going to be later. They don't actually get a shot on him now. Maybe that's in just a moment. Yep, there it is. Boom, boom. Okay, so he killed the guy, came down, didn't wait long enough, did not go dark, drove back up and let them have shots on him. Okay, so now our guys are getting the lights on their back hill campers, and that's a good thing for us. There's not much doing on the west side, so you do have to watch that. You want to make sure that you're not getting flanked over there. But that side of the map is getting torn up a little bit. This low is a thorn in my side. He's going to survive quite a bit of the battle, in fact all the way to the end, and he's using a very good hold down spot right there to defend that spot, defend that back edge. As a matter of fact, he essentially is responsible for defeating our entire hill push, which you will see as it goes. So we get down the T-54E1, and now I feel like I can move over. As I'm counting noses and seeing what they've got left, more than likely I feel like there's not a whole bunch up on that hill. I do take a hit there. We get out the IS-3. I come back. I may have taken a chance of getting hit twice, but I'm going to survive this and not take the hit. It looks like he fired in there, so I think a building was destroyed. And I'll continue to hold this corner right here. Hold this middle part. And really, I expected any moment for the guys that are left on the hill to come down the other side so we can clear out that low. You will see that unfortunately that doesn't happen. There's our AMX 1390. So there's 7 tanks accounted for. 5 that are dead. 6 now. So there's a few more that have not been lit. There's scouts back up on the hill. You can see the low, he's using that good hold down spot right there. Just about the time I load, he goes down, and that's just his turret poking. And our guys on the hill are coming after him. I fully expected that low and the scout to be dead, but unfortunately the OHO just went down. And you can tell that that JP2 in the background is doing some good work. Take another hit. I waited a little too long, and another hit and another hit. So that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made right there. Trying to support getting that low out, and we failed to do so. So that definitely hurt us. And now I'm at 387 or 97 hit points. Now here's something I rarely do. I don't suggest this. I get quite salty right there. I thought for sure we really were going to go ahead and push down and take out that guy in the back of the hill, and that really hurt our chances. Now the U-75 is driving back to the back, unknown why exactly, perhaps to go try to push up and over. And this is where the thinking part comes. Now, this is a long battle. It's pretty even. They've still got hold a couple spots that we need. We've got the hill at least. The low is unlikely to be able to push up and over, but we're not going to have any luck pushing down at this point, not with what we've got there. Not with what we've got there. So I decide to move. Let's head over and see if I can't help on this other side. The VK100.01, the 49, the 2 guys in the back. Looks like the Centurion 71 is going to stay here. The U-75 is going up the hill. That's going to take a while to develop, so I'm just going to head over here and see if we can't find somebody to shoot over here. There's a 34-3, there's a mutant. I did get spotted, unfortunately, so they know I've come this way. Would have preferred not to be spotted. Now this is interesting because it's one of those reasons that people don't like proc very much, and it's one of the reasons I quite like it. Not because it's campy, but because it requires thought, maneuver, even in a low. Now I'm not running all over the map, but I am taking different positions and trying to figure out how to get shots. And there's one right there. Get one on the 34-3. I do have to be careful about coming too far towards their hill. You see the draw range circle. I can take shots from the low, and the scout if he's still up there. In addition, even though I'm outside of draw range, this is a very lucky shot. Even though I'm outside of draw range, a smart player will shoot at me, and he actually does this a couple times. Fortunately, he misses. That shot on the mutant, obviously a super low percentage shot, and it happened to just take him on the top of the turret, pinned, and killed him. But it's one of those shots you have to take. So now we've got the Oho coming up. Little miss there. About the middle of that road, or that ridge. He's down below on the other side of the road. Right there it's fairly deep, even though he's a pretty tall tank. But when he gets out to about here, he starts to really expose at least the side of his turret, if not the side of his tank, because it shallows out as it goes this way. I know this, and now I'm trying to wait for him to get there. I'm going to keep him lit, keep firing at him. He is going after this FCM, it looks like. I do have to watch for the T-34-3 coming up. You can see that there's a fight developing on our hill now. So unfortunately we're getting pushed from two sides, and this is the one I've got to fight on for the moment. Put a hit on that guy. A lot of this is my spotting damage because I'm the one seeing him, although I think the FCM sees him now. Now that he's closer. The Oho is just fired, so I'm going to come up and shoot at him. Ends up bouncing. You'll notice I check 6 every time, just in case something's coming up and over. I don't really expect it based on what we have killed and where their tanks are, but it is possible. That's another one of those low percentage shots. I took it and got it. And then the FCM takes out the Oho, so we get him taken care of. .1390 is now moving up. We still have the problem up on the hill. Excellent. There goes the JP2. He actually moved up to support his low, but dies. You'll notice the low did not come up and over. Bounce a shot from the IS-6 Bravo. And to a large extent, this is just reactionary at this point. I'm just trying to survive in this middle, get lights, get damage as best I can. Come on up here, get that spotting damage. I'm going to come up. I've noticed the T-95 is looking somewhere else. I'm going to go right for his front sprocket, track him, but his kit is ready and he ends up fixing it. That's something that's a bit of a pain these days now with big TDs like that. Often late in the game, if you tracked them, you had a pretty good, reasonable expectation that they had already burned their kit unless they carried 2. But now with the regenerating kits, you never know. I spent a little too much time here. I sort of expected him to fix his tracks and then turn towards those guys, which might give me a shot without him pointing right at me. So it takes me a while to change my angle here, and he continues to be tracked and take hits. Come up just first. Oh, someone else got him. Alright, so now we're down to 2. Now we're down to 2, so it's not 1. A lot of us are pretty hurt. There goes our 26 E4, and they've still got a lightweight. So I'm glad to have the T-49. He's going to be helpful. I get lit by this guy here, and I just back up away from the low. I believe he actually takes a shot in here potentially. Yep, see that right there? He did. Whether he was going after me or the 49, I don't know, but the shot was right on line. It just didn't have the right elevation. That's one of those situations where people will call hacks, especially if they get hit. So I don't want to go up and over this ridge here. This is where they keep on thinking, okay? Keep on thinking. It's not 1. I don't really want to die to this low. If I come up and over this ridge right here, I get lit by the T-54 lightweight. He may either I may just get the draw range, but I don't think so unless he's moved up, or he may take that shot once again online. And this is a pretty easy one for him because he knows exactly my azimuth if I'm lit. And he also knows that I'm probably right on the top of this ridge or very close to it, and he's going to shoot right into me. So I'm just going to avoid even getting lit. I like what the Centurion 7-1 is doing. He's coming around the back to try to figure out where that low is. I'm just trying to get far enough away from the T-54 lightweight that I can come up and over because I want to get back over to the 5-6 line. Well, there he is. I'm going to try to shoot through and unfortunately miss. So I could have probably stayed on that ridge and moved to the north a little bit, but then he goes dark, so I'm going to come up here and get a little closer to my work. I'm also going to try and support the 49 and FCM. If we can catch this T-54 lightweight, then this becomes much easier. And I'm going to end up making a mistake right here. Once again, keep thinking. I'm trying to get up and get this lightweight potentially. And he goes over there. No, don't see him, but guess what? Okay, so spotting range right there. In the range at which I can be spotted, and he's going to end up seeing me and punish me for it. Wham. So he is still in that same exact position. I'll just back down. Don't want to let him kill me. A little bit dangerous there. I may have actually pushed my turret just slightly up above that track. But we'll get away from him that way. Excellent. There goes the 54 lightweight. That's a big help. And I see the Centurion 7-1's coming up top. I am outside of his range to spot me, so now I should be able to come up here, but I'm inside draw range, and I'm just waiting for the Centurion to give me the SA on where this guy is. There he is. Good news is he has to turn towards the Centurion. Let's see if we can get a shot on this guy. Nope, Centurion got him. And it ends up being a 3-kill ace tanker in the low. Quite a long game. Got down to 52 seconds left, so a 14-minute game. But during the whole thing, I kept thinking. Made a couple mistakes, lost hit points in places I shouldn't have. But once I did, I didn't give up. I didn't run out of ideas. I kept trying new things, and while I didn't run all across the map, I did move across this middle part quite a bit, flexing to support all sides of the map. Well, I hope this helped. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you.